How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about ChargePoint, which was down 16% on the day. We've been seeing a lot of selling pressure in these markets since the CPI numbers came out. So I want to make sure I give you guys an update. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in the bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on FinTel, taking a look at the recent short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for ChargePoint. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $12.08, being down 16.05%. On the low, it tested $12.02, and then on the high, testing $13.85. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 16.3 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 13.803 million shares. So we had above average volume on the day, but you could see we dealt with a good amount of selling pressure. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it's at 43.95. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, we're below the 50-day, and we're also below the 21-day EMA. And you can see that ChargePoint has sold off quite a bit. So after seeing some highs around the $16 range, it is now trading at $12. So if we see weakness continuing inside of these markets, and if $12 cannot hold, then we could see ChargePoint coming down to around $11.28, and we want to see if we have some support within this range. If not, then we could see ChargePoint getting real quick down to $10.60 or the mid $10 range. So something that you want to keep an eye on. If you're looking for a reversal, you want to see some strength, of course it needs to reclaim the 21-day EMA at $13.31. It saw a high at $13.85, and we know that ChargePoint can move very quickly. But as long as we continue to have weakness in these markets, I can see this downtrend continuing. You can see by the pattern we've been forming lower lows and as well as lower highs consistently. So usually when you see this, it is not a great sign whatsoever. So let's see what it does going into tomorrow. Let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent short interest information for ChargePoint. So the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 55.09%. And then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 2.34 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 3.4 million, updated 1 minute ago. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 5.87%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 9th, it was at 58.81. And then for the close of the 10th, being at 55.09. So it went down a little bit. And then when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float, being at 17.86%, ChargePoint does have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for ChargePoint. So we see on the inflow, it is at 29.66 million, and then on the outflow, it's at 27.21 million. So we had an inflow day. Taking a look at the breakdown, on the large it was 0, on the medium it was 19.69 million, on the small it was 9.97 million. On the outflow side, you can see on the large it was 0.71 million, on the medium it was 17.53 million, and then on the small it was 8.97 million. Taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today of June the 13th, we had that negative outflow of 0.71 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders, it tends to represent the retail side. You can see that we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more selling than we had buying. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 4.84%. So yes, it is up there for a stock like ChargePoint, but it has been on quite the run. So it has been seeing a lot of volatility. Plus we have sell-offs inside of the market as well. So let's get into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details. So for my final thoughts for ChargePoint, when it comes to the price action, so the 21-day EMA is at $13.31, and we ended up seeing a high on the day at $13.85. As far as for the low of the day, it was at $12.02. So what do all of these numbers mean? We need to have price action or closing above the 21-day EMA to be showing some strength. And since we did not get a close above the 21-day EMA, it is going to start looking bearish. We also could see recently there is a pattern of lower lows and as well as lower highs. And we also have to take in consideration if that $12 level does break, then we want to see how well it could hold up around $11.30 range, or $11.33 to be exact. If it breaks through this level, then of course I can see ChargePoint trading in the $10 range. So be aware of that. And if you're looking for a move to the upside, of course you want to see that price action getting back above the 21-day EMA at $13.31, and then you want to see if it can go back to those recent highs where it was previously, where it got to as high as around the $16 range before selling off. And if you guys remember, I did tell you, if you were trading this play, make sure that you're moving up your stops and protecting your profits. So I know many of you, if you were watching that video, I know I'm not allowed to give you guys financial advice. You should have been able to walk out this play with some profits. And I know a lot of my traders out there, when they started seeing some weakness, they were able to take advantage of the downside with puts, especially since we do see a lot of selling pressure in the market. And as far as for tech stocks and growth stocks like ChargePoint, they're going to be impacted the most. They are not turning a profit whatsoever. So in high inflationary environments, these are the first stocks to be on the chopping block. But one thing that you do know for a fact, if you are an investor, if you have high conviction, you've done your homework, you've done your due diligence, then you're going to be waiting on that dip. And if you've already bought up the dip, then you're going to wait for it to dip even further and load up some more shares because you believe in the long-term prospects. If you don't feel that way, then you shouldn't have a position in the first place. And if you are going to be swinging it, you want to make sure you're using the right risk management. Again, this is very essential. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the recent short interest information, ChargePoint does continue to have short squeeze potential. But in order to force a short squeeze, we need to have some more buying volume coming into the play. And like I was saying, since those CPI numbers came out last week, the market has been seeing a lot of fear. There has been a lot of selling. So we have the FOMC meeting that's going to be coming. And many people are saying that Jerome Powell is going to be going with the 75 basis point hike. And if he does decide to do this, we have to figure out, is the market pricing it in at the moment since it has sold off quite a bit? Well, you know what? We're going to have to wait and be patient. But if you want to be able to take advantage of this move, then you could join us inside of the Discord. We're always tracking the market direction, and we make sure that the plays that we get into have a lot of upside. So whether the market is going up or whether the market is going down, we're going to be making some money. We do this through options in regards to calls and as well as puts. So don't just see the market go down and say, well, you know what? I'm losing money. I'm going to turn off my phone or not even open up my app. No, it doesn't work that way. Instead, what you should do, if you are holding a group of stocks inside of your portfolio and there's certain stocks that you're not confident about or you don't really like, then maybe you might want to think about shuffling things around. Start focusing on the plays. Have your portfolio concentrated in the plays you have high conviction in. I want to make sure I emphasize this because the last thing that you want is this bear market to continue and you're in stocks that you just hate or you don't like or you're just holding the bag for the sake of it. All right. So I hope you enjoyed this video and I can't wait to see how ChargePoint performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.